Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Sports Illustrated beat writer. Uh, I'm your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on Sports Illustrated and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast, coming at you from SoFi Stadium, where just walked out of the locker room a short time ago. Talked to Brock Bowers, talked to Max Crosby, talked to Aiden, talked to Gardner, and then of course Antonio Pierce. Raiders lose 20-15. We got a lot to talk about today, but before we do, I think there's a few performances that we do need to recognize. Daniel Carlson, career high, or ties a career high with 5 field goals. I've told you all along, all offseason, he's the best kicker in the NFL. I stand by that. He's phenomenal. He's a superstar. Unfortunately for him, in the midst of a completely disappointing season, um, his performance today is going to go overlooked. Plus, when you're settling for field goals, that's not his fault. And he's playing out of his mind, as good of a guy as he is a kicker. And I just want to give him some credit. AJ Cole, superstar stud, superstar stud as well. He's an all pro, best punter. Brock Bowers, the rookie tight end. I think he's the best tight end in the National Football League right now. And I know there's a lot of good ones, but I think he's the absolute best. I mean, everybody knows they're coming for him. 14 targets, 10 receptions, 93 yards. Just he's a man child. He's a literal man child. He got here, hasn't been, a typical wide eye rookie. He just came in expecting to dominate, and it's what he's done. He's earned the complete respect of his teammates. And I can tell you right now, if there was a vote today on captains to redo captains, Brock Bowers would be a captain. So big props to him. I think there was some great plays out of some guys in the secondary that I thought were really well, that played well. I think it's important to talk about those guys. I think Isaiah Polamalu, was he perfect? No, but he's a young player, first time in the starting role. I thought he played good. Nate Hobbs was good. I thought Trayvon Merrick was good. I thought Spills did several good things. Max Crosby was tremendous. But so I think it's important to get all that out of the way. If you want to know what I thought the biggest plus was, and then I'm going to go on a tear, and I just apologize in advance. I am. But you want to know what the biggest plus today was? Is that the Raiders lost, so they stay in contention for a great draft pick. I got to just start with the offense. It's pathetic. Okay, you have a $25 million quarterback that you wanted in Gardner Minshew. Now, I want to preface my comments today because I see some things on social media. This guy's trash. Okay. You don't have to like the way a person plays, and I'm going to call out several people today. But there's zero reason to make it personal. Zero. So let's start with Luke Getsy, who's a terrific man, great father, great husband, great person. He's just not good at offensive coordinating in the National Football League. We have 2 sample sizes now from 2 different teams. I mean, so you want to establish the run. Earlier in the year, we talked about teams are stacking the box, so you have to use the pass to set up the run. And what do? They just run it up the middle. So then they come into a game against the worst rushing defense in the National Football League. So would you not agree with me? They are going to ram it down people's throats today. That would make sense in a rational person's opinion. Would you not agree? Raiders didn't think so. Ready for this one? They ran the ball 29 times, 122 yards, 4.2 clip. 4.2 clip. 4.2 clip. And the longest was 13. So let's not pretend like you had a 60 yarder that inflated it. 4.2 clip. That means if you ran it on first, second, and third, you're getting a first down. They ran it 29 times, threw it 44. At one point, I had a buddy of mine who works for an NFL team that was watching the game. sent me a message. What's the rush to pass numbers? And I just gave them to him real quick. He goes, what are they thinking? They're running the ball pretty decent. So when they have the opportunity to do what they want, they don't. There's no rhyme or reason. I told you, and it was 100% truthful. All off season and training camp, you were going to be really impressed with the creativity at this offense. And you have seen enough at times this year to get a hint at what I was talking about. But it doesn't matter how creative and nice you are. There's these things on the phone that the kids use now where you can take a picture and make yourself look better than you are. I don't know what it's called. But my son was telling me that people do that. Okay. I don't care how good you look. Oh, filter. I don't care how good you look with a filter. The reality is you're going to end up meeting, and the reality is going to be what the reality is. Okay. I appreciate that this offense, and I love this offense. It won a Super Bowl, is creative. I love what this offense does, but you don't do it. Hey, you can have a Lamborghini in your garage that is fun to drive, but if you never take it out, what's the use of having it? You have to adjust in the National Football League week to week. It was one of the things that made Belichick great was that he literally was metamorphic every week. Whatever you did bad, he was going to punish you with. So you're going against this team, one of the worst defensive rushing teams. And let me get this straight. I just need to make sure the numbers haven't changed. You run 29 times and throw 44. Okay. I'm sorry. We are sitting here today and the Raiders are 2-5. And with the talent that is on this team, that is a joke. Now, I believe you are what your record says you are. 100% agree with that. That's totally truthful. But when you have this talent, and let's say this about the coaches and the players, because this is fair, and I want to be fair. Nobody's quitting. You just got a lot of people that are performing their jobs at a horrible level. Certainly not all, but a lot. You know what? You got 2 rookies on your offensive line, 2 rooks. And you know what? Anyone that's followed me, I've covered the Raiders for 5 years. I always say grace goes to the rookies. So I'm not going to sit here and point fingers at rookies for getting penalties. They're learning. It's a whole new level. I'm good with that. When you start rookies, you just know you're going to get rookie mistakes. So I'm throwing those out. They're 3, 4, 5 years from now, the Raiders are going to be better because of these rookie mistakes. So I'm throwing those out. I'm not naming them. It's just reality. But you got unforced penalties coming from veterans. You have play calls that you're literally like, what was that? You come out and when you could attack, you don't. I'm going to tell you what this is. This looks like an offense that has zero idea of its identity. Zero idea. Okay, now that falls completely on Luke Getsy. He is the offensive coordinator. And I want to make this clear. Don't send tweets to me or emails attacking his character because it's not fair and I'll defend the man. But it's totally fair to be 100% critical of this offense, which is ugly. Absolutely ugly. I don't even know if it's politically correct anymore, and I'm not a real politically correct person, but when I was in high school and the cheerleaders would or the crowd would chant to the other team if you were beating them, UGLY, UGLY, you ain't got no alibi, you're ugly. Well, that would have been the collective statement from any rational football fan talking about the Raiders offense today. Completely ugly. Ugly. I mean, turnovers all over the place. And you know what? To his credit, another good man, Gardner Minshew. I asked him about, the offensive line was struggling with pass blocking. And he goes, no, totally on me. It wasn't fair what he did. I really encourage you to go listen to or watch the video. Phenomenal. I was so impressed with him. Good man, honorable man. But the reality is that the Raiders are now sitting here today, and we're not playing tiddlywinks. It isn't, patty cake bakers, man, and it's not Sunday school. It isn't about being good people or just showing up and let's play. These are about men paid a lot of money by fans who pay a lot more, and people are underperforming. At some point, I mean, at 2-5, AP is going to have to look in the mirror and realize, I mean, this is his coaching career is on the line. Does he make changes? Does he go with an Edgar Bennett or a Joe Philbin or a Scott Turner, who are all on his staff? Does he say, nope, I'm sticking with Luke, but I'm going to help him, or I want Scott Philbin and others to come around him and help him? I'm not calling for anyone to be fired, but here's the reality is you have the world champions coming into your house next week, and I don't care who in the organization tweets at me that they disagree with me. It is going to be a Chiefs home game. And you are looking 2-6 in the face, then you head on the road to face the Bengals. You are really sincerely looking at 2-8. And the fact is, losing a game in the NFL is not the end of the world. The Ravens, which is one of the best teams, and many people believe good shot at being in the Super Bowl, I think that, lost to this Raider team. So there's nobody on this schedule the Raiders can't beat. They could go into Allegiant next week and beat Kansas City. That's not a far-fetched thought process. But does anyone expect it? I don't. I don't think you do. And the way the Raiders are right now, it almost as if they're just like, what's going to happen bad next? Not everybody, but I'm speaking about the collective entity of the team. The complete recap is, until you find out an offensive identity, you can't expect the defense to do what they did all of last year. You're down your all-pro defensive tackle, Christian Wilkins. Your burgeoning all-pro defensive end has been out from the beginning in Malcolm Koonce. I mean, you got half of your defensive line with two really star players out. It's not unfair to talk about that. It's not unfair to expect your defense to look at the offense and say, can somebody over here help us? Is anyone capable of putting together? Okay, great. Listen, this is not a slam on Daniel Carlson, but you don't win games at a championship consistent level with field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal. Oh, turnover, field goal, field, turnover, punt. I mean, even if you have AJ, who's the best punter in the NFL, this is a team in need of an identity. And listen, AP is Lowell. AP is a fighter. He's a scrapper. That is a reality. This team of players believes in him, but his offense is you could not identify it. Someone sent me a message during the game and said, man, the Raiders offense is on a milk carton. And I responded, no, they're not. They don't even know who they are. There's no picture of them. It'd just be a blank space. At times you see the creativity and it looks great. Was there anyone, including me, who didn't expect the Raiders to come in here today and give them a full frontal dose of Alexander and Zamir and some play actions and stretch the field with Trey Tucker? And I mean, look at this. Okay. So you have 14 targets of Brock Bowers, 8 of Trey. Okay. He caught 3. Alexander Madison was 3 of 3. Harrison Bryant, 2 of 2. DJ Turner, 2 of 7. Zamir White, 1 of 1. But did anybody see creativity? Let me ask you, how many times in this game were you surprised at play calling in a positive way? Bueller? Bueller? And now a team that was upset about disrespect. This is what people said the Raiders were. This is what was said. Now, the point is they don't have a quarterback. Okay, I totally understand the process. They could not get up to one last year, so they took a generational talent in Brock Bowers. I agree with the move. I want to make that clear. I agree with it. There were other options, but they wanted Gardner, which is fine. Good guy. Not playing well here. How do they look for not going for a Joe Flacco? And others. There were other people. And you have to put something together, unless you just say, you know what? Listen, I know we're battling for the future, but it'd be nice to get a top quarterback. There's a few of them. I don't think there's as many as other people do, but there's a few. And don't email asking me who. I'll get into all that after the season. But the point is that the Raiders are identityless. You don't know. You know what they want to do on defense. And you just held Matthew Stafford to 20 points. Matter of fact, I want to just look at this real quick. The Raider defense, which was pretty decent today. Okay. Raider defense, you just gave up 114 rushing yards, 154 passing. She gave up 268. Not bad. And 20 points. That's a win. Not with your offense, but it's a win. I'm sorry. It is unreasonable with all the losses that they've had to sit here and expect them to hold people to 6 points or 3 points like last year. It's totally unfair. You know who the Raiders are on defense. This is a good defensive team. A lot of injuries, but good defensive team. But the offense is there's no identity. They can't even establish an identity. And so the complete recap is you're sitting here today, Raider Nation, and you're 2-5. You're 2-5, fixing to be 2-6, and probably 2-7 going into your bye. And you have no idea what your offense is. And before anybody says to me, but Uncle Hondo, they lost to Aiden. Okay, they did. But this is your $25 million quarterback that you wanted. I never forget one time a man was complaining to my father about his wife, and my dad goes, "Excuse me, did you marry her?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I don't want to hear it. You married her." Okay. You knew who Gardner Minshew was when you got him. You knew you were concerned about the gunslinger. We talked about this all off season. We talked about it during training camp. You went with your guy. So when Aiden goes down, you're not throwing Carter Bradley in there. You're throwing in a $25 million guy who was in the Pro Bowl last year. He's not a no one, and you wanted him. Listen, the Raiders could turn this thing around if they could get their offense turned around. The defense is fine. The defense is going to be fine. A lot of frustration, and there should be. But there should be. But this offense is horrible. I'm not saying the players are horrible. I'm not as people. I'm not saying the coaches are horrible as people. I'm saying I don't think they have any clue what their identity is. Oh, I think we kind of want to do this. We kind of want to do that, but we kind of want to stop. Somebody has to be the rock that says, this is what we do. Does anyone remember? I asked Luke Getzey about this early in the year. Al Davis said the Raiders don't take what the defense gives us. I'm using his voice. We take what we want. Has anyone at all this year felt like the Raiders were taking what they wanted? No. Can I have some more porridge? Give me a break. I'm not saying anybody should be fired, but I'm also not saying this should be allowed to continue. And when you are fighting for your careers, when you have a new owner who's considered one of the most competitive people to ever play this game, who hates mediocrity, who, yes, he's calling games, but you know he's watching everything. Tom Brady did not become a part of this organization to lose. And so everybody's fighting for something. But come on. You got good players on that offense. Yeah, it stinks that they're out Jacoby. I don't want to hear about Devontae. That's no loss. But Jacoby, that's a huge loss. I get it. I know you're down Michael Mayer. By the way, a lot of people asking me, yes, I do expect him back this year. But you're down him. Who was your starting tight end? Yep, totally factual. Those are big losses. But you got a lot of weapons. And you got a lot of people that you wanted. Something's got to give. Now, again, I said it before, and I bet a lot of you were shocked to hear it. The good news, they lost. They're still in the sweepstakes for a great quarterback. And there's going to be some good ones out there. Again, not as many as I think other people think, but I'm not for tanking. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think this franchise is for tanking. You got coaches on this staff that are going to be looking, and they want their careers to advance. They don't want to be known as, the guys that failed. You got players who are playing for their next contract or their next team. They don't want to fail. But that offense has no identity. And you can't get players to go in one direction to buy in if they don't know who they are. If they don't understand what are we trying to do. It just literally makes no sense. Okay, I get it. I want to talk about the end. I'm thinking it was like 4th and 2 at the 4. They get a penalty, so they kick the field goal. I get that. I'm not saying that that's what I would have done, but you have 3 turnovers, 3 timeouts, and you did get the ball back just through an interception. Now, I probably would have went for it there because your offense had not yet proven they could punch it in. And what are the odds you're going to get that close anyways? So you still have your 3 turnovers. I go for it. If I get it, I go for the 2. Whether I get it or not doesn't matter. I'm still got the 3 turnovers to try to go down and get a field goal. And with Daniel Carlson, I just got to get her somewhere around the 50. But I understand, at least understand the reasoning. You can make a coherent argument, even if you disagree that that was the right move. But I'm just telling you, it was just, there's no identity here. People don't know who they are. And I'm speaking of the offense. They got to get it fixed quick. And what's the recap? We know who the Raiders are on defense and have no idea who they are on offense. No idea. You could have done a lot of the creative stuff today and even opened up the run more. Okay. Pass blocking was not good today. Okay. That's why you think they're going to run it more. Matter of fact, I want to check one stat because it shocked me when I saw it. And I want to bring it up to you. Gardner Minshew sacked twice. I was shocked it was only twice, but he was under pressure all day. And in AOC, not sacked at all, but there was just pressure all day. So the pass blocking was not good. Okay, we know that. Some of that was because they just were pinning their ears back. Some of it was not real good blocking. Okay. I thought the run blocking was significantly better than the pass blocking. Got to find an identity. And I'm going to credit those guys because not one guy quit. And that talks about character. But this one, they've got to find out who they are on offense because they have no clue. If any of you has a clue, send me an email. What is their identity in offense? Because I don't know what it is. To me, the identity on offense is somebody sent me a picture, and if you've ever seen the movie Waterboy, of Henry Winkler holding his playbook, and that's literally, I hate to say that. I literally hate to say that because I like Luke. It isn't a personal thing in the least bit. It's just reality. The offense stinks. And I think it all goes to identity. I don't think it's an issue with bad players. I think there are enough players here to be significantly better. Do I think they're going to be the best offense in the NFL? No. Do I think there's enough good players here to be significantly better than they are? Without a doubt. There's good men fighting, scrapping, and working. Dear God, offensive coaching staff has got to give them an identity. That's on coaching. Coaching sets the direction of the ship. And I think AP's got to grab the bull by the horns and just said, here's the deal. I'm a first-year coach. I'm not willing to just throw away my coaching career because I'm worried about hurting feelings. This is pro football. This is business. This isn't personal. We either got to find an identity or I got to put somebody in there that can figure it out. And I got plenty of options on my staff. Very disappointing. What was the complete recap? Is that the milk carton of the NFL that says Raiders offense has no pitcher on it because we have no idea what is. It was a very, very bad performance tonight. And yet they were still in it till the end because the Rams are not that good. But you know what? You are what your record says you are. If this team had an offense, boy, they would be significantly better right now. But at least they're in the hunt for a top draft pick. Thanks, everybody.